This hedge is exactly 3 inches over the limit, Section 4, subsection B.
Are you serious?
Perfectly serious.
Oakrest Meadows was the kind of neighborhood that looked peaceful enough to sell itself. Lawns were trimmed to the exact same height, hedges shaped like they were measured with rulers, driveways empty except for approved vehicles parked exactly where they were supposed to be. Every mailbox matched. Every porch light glowed the same warm color at night. It didn't look like a place people lived. It looked like a place people complied. I didn't know any of that when I bought the house. To me, it was just a quiet property I picked up through a county auction. The previous owner disappeared, paperwork lapsed, and the listing barely got attention because the house sat at the edge of the neighborhood instead of neatly inside it. I liked that. I'm an engineer. I like margins, space, clear boundaries. I wanted a place where I could work, sleep, and not be bothered. That was my first mistake. The first week I moved in, I noticed people watching, not staring exactly, just long enough to register me, then quickly looking away. Doors closed faster than usual. Conversations stopped when I walked by. It wasn't hostility, it was assessment, like I was a variable they hadn't accounted for yet. On day 3, I found a note taped to my garage door. No greeting, no signature, just a printed message informing me that trash bins must not be visible from the street after collection. I didn't even own trash bins yet. I shrugged it off. 2 days later, another note. Porch light wattage exceeded community standards. I hadn't installed a porch light. That's when I realized this place didn't run on common sense. It ran on enforcement. Everyone knew who was behind it. Mara Green, HOA president, mid-50s, always dressed like she was about to host a luncheon or file a complaint. Sometimes both. She drove a white SUV with the HOA logo on the door like it was a badge. She carried a clipboard everywhere and spoke in announcements, not sentences. Doug Reeves was always with her, treasurer, rule enforcer, a man who smiled when he handed people fines. He measured things obsessively: grass fence height, driveway alignment. I once saw him crouched in front of a yard with a tape measure while the homeowner watched from the window like they were witnessing a crime scene. I tried to stay invisible. I worked, I unpacked, I kept my head down. Then I replaced the mailbox. The old one was rusted and bent, painted that faded HOA beige that looked like it had never been chosen, only approved. I installed a new one, slate gray, clean lines, perfectly mounted, functionally superior in every way. I was tightening the final screw when I saw them coming. Mara, Doug, and another board member I didn't recognize. Trailing behind like a witness, they crossed the street together, synchronized like this wasn't their first time. Mara stopped at the edge of my driveway and cleared her throat. She didn't say, "Hello," she said my name. Then she said my mailbox was NaN-compliant. I told her calmly that it wasn't an issue because I wasn't under the HOA. For half a second, her face went blank, like a computer buffering. Doug laughed, short and sharp, and said every house on the street was under HOA authority. I told him he should check the map. Mara's tone hardened. She said you can't just opt out. She said fines would apply. She said authorities could be contacted. I shrugged and told her to go ahead. She did. 10 minutes later, a patrol car rolled into the street, lights flashing against identical driveways. Lawnmowers shut off. Neighbors froze mid. Phones appeared in hands. This was entertainment now. Mara spoke first. Long explanation. Violations. Community standards, resistance. Doug nodded like punctuation when it was my turn. I handed the officer a folder, deeds survey, county records, highlighted boundaries. He flipped through it once, then slowed down, read more carefully, looked up. He asked Mara if she had documentation proving jurisdiction. She DN'd single quotes T. He told her the property was not under HOA authority. He said it plainly. No drama, no debate. Then he left. The silence that followed was loud. Mara didn't apologize. She told me this wasn't over. She was right. The letters started arriving daily. Official notices, fines, photos of my house printed and highlighted. My mailbox became a topic on the HOA forum. Someone left a handwritten note in my box one night telling me not to back down because they did this to other people too. That's when I stopped reacting and started preparing. I pulled county maps. I called the records office. An archivist confirmed what the officer already knew. Oakrest Meadows never finalized their annexation paperwork years earlier. They assumed control without legal completion. Most homeowners never questioned it. I labeled a folder H correspondence and documented everything because this wasn't about a mailbox anymore. It was about what happens when authority goes unchecked for too long and finally runs into someone who reads the fine print, and they had no idea what they were about to lose. Once the police officer left, something shifted in Oakrest Meadows. It wasn't relief. It wasn't calm. It was tension, the kind that sits under the surface and hums. People stopped waving entirely. Curtains moved more often. Mara's SUV passed my house slower than necessary, like she wanted me to notice she was still watching. The fines didn't stop. They multiplied. Different violation codes, new descriptions, landscaping symmetry, visual disharmony. failure to maintain neighborhood cohesion. None of it cited a covenant. None of it cited law. It was intimidation dressed up as administration. I ignored them publicly and documented them privately. Then came the mandatory compliance hearing. Flyers on doors. Emails marked urgent. The message was clear. If they couldn't scare me quietly, they'd do it in front of everyone. The meeting was held in the community clubhouse. Folding chairs, a microphone, an American flag in the corner like legitimacy could be borrowed by proximity. A police cruiser idled outside again, just in case the performance needed. Backup. Mara opened the meeting with a speech about unity and standards and protecting property values. Then she shifted straight into my name. She listed violations like she was reading charges. Doug stood beside her with printed photos of my house, pointing to my mailbox like it was a weapon. When it was my turn, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue details. I asked one question. Under which recorded covenant does the HOA claim authority over my property? No. One answered. Mara said the HOA had always enforced standards on my street. I asked for documentation. Doug said annexation applied automatically. I asked for the filing number. Silence. The officer stepped forward and asked to see my paperwork. I handed it over. He reviewed it carefully, then addressed the room. This property is not under HOA jurisdiction. Any further enforcement attempts would be civil harassment. That word landed hard. Harassment. People started murmuring, because if the HOA had no authority over me, how solid was their authority over anyone else? Mara ended the meeting early. After that, the retaliation got quieter and dirtier. Anonymous complaints, reports to the city, accusations of easement obstruction. None of them stuck, but they took time. Time off work, time explaining, time defending against nonsense. That's when I started looking deeper. Engineers don't stop at surface problems. We trace systems, inputs, outputs, failure points. I pulled county land records for everything labeled common area in Oakrest Meadows. The park, the walking path, the clubhouse. On paper, they looked fine, but paper ages, filings lapse, and ownership doesn't care about assumptions. That's when I found it. 3 parcels. All 3 had fallen into foreclosure years earlier due to unpaid taxes. Notices were sent. No one responded. The HOA kept using the land like ownership was permanent. It wasn't. I attended the county auction quietly. No announcement. No grand plan. I bid on all 3 parcels. I won all 3. Paid in full. Recorded the deeds. Legally, I now owned the heart of the neighborhood. I didn't say anything. Not yet. The HOA kept operating like nothing had changed. They scheduled another meeting. Same clubhouse. Same tone. Same authority. This time, when Mara started talking, I waited. When Doug started presenting fines, I waited. When they asked for discussion, I stood up and placed 3 documents on the table. Deeds. The room leaned forward. I told them the land they were standing on now belonged to me. I told them the park belonged to me. The walking path, the recreational easement, all legally transferred through county auction due to unpaid taxes. Mara laughed. It sounded forced. She said that wasn't possible. The HOA had owned that land for decades. The sheriff in the back of the room cleared his throat. He confirmed it. The HOA's lawyer confirmed it. The room went dead silent. Mara accused me of scheming, of exploiting a loophole, of embarrassing the board. I told her I'd simply done what she always told everyone else to do: follow the rules, read the paperwork. Then someone in the back clapped. Then another. This wasn't rebellion. It was release. People started talking about fines, about threats, about letters, about fear. Doug tried to leave. The sheriff stopped him. Questions needed answers. Records needed review. Within days, everything unraveled. The HOA website went offline. Board members resigned one by one. The bank accounts were frozen pending investigation. It turned out dues had been collected on land the HOA didn't legally own for years. People were furious, not at me, at them. I donated the land back to the community under a new trust. No HOA, no board, no fines, just basic maintenance funded voluntarily. The only condition was simple: no governing authority without consent. They agreed unanimously.